Hi, this is Mary Mullen from Evansville, Indiana, and you're listening to Bad Dog Agility, where the naughty dogs train.
I'm Esteban.
And I'm Sarah. And this is episode 5. Yesterday, the AKC announced the rest of the members of the 2012 team that will travel to the Czech Republic for the FCI Agility World Championships this fall. Today, we have 2 very special guests joining us. Nancy Gyes, the coach for Team USA, and Carrie DeYoung, the AKC Director of Agility. Nancy and Carrie, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedules to join us, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us, and thank you for your coverage of tryouts. It was interesting and fun, and I'm excited about participating.
Excellent. So, Carrie, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your job as the Director of Agility for the AKC.
Well, I've been with the AKC now almost 14 years, and I started as a judge originally before I was even an agility field rep, and now I'm the director. So everything comes across my desk, which is actually lots of fun overall. And the World Team program is certainly one of my favorite things to work on during the year. And Nancy and I work definitely as a team, working with the World Team. She is the coach and myself as the director for the AKC. It is definitely a team effort, and we certainly couldn't do it without Nancy, that's for sure. She keeps things moving forward when we need to.
Very cool. Well, now it's Nancy's turn. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your role as the coach for Team USA.
This is actually my 17th year being involved with the World Team. 17 years. So in 1996, I was chosen to represent the United States with my Border Collie, Scud. Sharon Anderson was the agility director then, and Scott and I were on the team for 4 years, from 96 to 1999. Had a lot of fun back in the days when there was just a few of us on the team, and it was pretty exciting times. Then I was actually on the team again with my dog Riot from 2001 to 2003. And then I took over a job of helping Dan with the team in 2004 and 2005. And when Dan retired from his coaching position in 2006, I took over as the head coach at that time and have been there ever since.
So like a lot of different professional athletes, you've made the transition from athlete to assistant and then on to the head coach position.
Yes, I guess you could say that. I still compete a lot with my own dogs as well, and have gone to Europe to compete at the EO each year for the last 5 years, I guess we've been going to the EO.
That's awesome. Are you guys going this year?
We are. We're going to Sweden in a couple months in July.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Well, before we talk about this year's team, let's talk a little bit about the selection process. At the World Championships this year, the small, medium, and large teams will each have 4 members. And for each height, all 4 team members will have a jumpers and standard run, but only the 3 best scores for each country will be counted. At least that's my understanding of it. How is this different from previous years, and how did it affect the way you put together this year's team?
Actually, this is a return to the process that had always been in place from the time that I started. And the first year of the actual World Championships was 1996. Prior to that, this event was called the European Championships. And then when they invited countries outside of the European continent, it became the World Championships. And we always ran 4 dogs on team, and 1 score was thrown away. It made the team event extremely exciting and fun, and was much more of a speed element. A few years ago, as the event got larger, they dropped down to having only 3 dogs run on team, because we used to only have 2 jump heights. We did a large team and a small dog team. Mm-hmm. So when they went to the 3 different jump heights, small, medium, and large, they felt that there wasn't enough time to add that 4th run in for team members. So this is actually a return to what for us was a tradition, and is a incredible, in my mind, way to run the event. It makes it a lot more fun, a lot more exciting. It's no longer just 3 clean runs that is going to get you on the podium for team.
So did it have any effect in the way you put together the team, or this is sort of the status quo for you?
It probably affected us in the thought process, of wondering how we would be affected. But when you actually look at the membership of the team this year, I don't think it really affected our choices too much, other than maybe giving us a feeling of security that we've got some young speed dogs on the team, and that we still probably have some pretty good shots at medaling. If you took, in the past couple years, a team of younger dogs that carried a lot of speed, but maybe not quite as much in the reliability department, probably the odds were that it would be difficult to bring home a medal in team. So this year just simply gives us a lot more opportunity to hit that podium.
It gives you a little bit more room to maneuver. So how do you balance experience versus new talent in both the dogs and the handlers? Or, how do you develop talent for future events while still fielding the best possible team for this year?
I've never been very great on the theory that we should take a team member all the way to Europe just to develop ability for next year. At this point, we need to be prepared before we get there. We don't have time to go and train people over there. There's not that many runs. For each run that you give someone that you really don't feel has a chance of medaling, somebody else who does have a chance of medaling won't get to run.
Right.
They limit us as to how many people can also have individual runs. So obviously all 4 will run as part of the team, but then we have to make some decisions as to who gets to also run for individual medal options.
Now, are those decisions done on a per height basis, or do they give you a total number and you can, if you wanted, put a bunch of large dogs and no small dogs, or distribute them however you want?
We can distribute however we want. This year we have 10 runs. You're allotted 3 per team. So we would have, because we have 3 teams, we're allotted 3 individual runs. But you don't actually have to use them that way. We have 9 runs overall that we are given, and this has always been the case, to have those 9 runs since we went to 3 jump heights. However, because Ashley won a gold medal last year, he gets a free ride to compete in individual, which then actually for our team means that we have 10 runs in individual. Again, another gigantic percentage this year of chances to medal. One more run in individual just gives us one more chance to hit that podium. So we could divide it. You could take 9 large dogs and run 9 large dogs in individual. You could take 12 team dogs and run 12 dogs on team. And those don't need to be the same dogs. All the countries don't do anything like that, but occasionally they do take more dogs at a certain jump height. This year we will run the 4 large dogs in both team and individual.
I could see how that could be logistically difficult to have, 2 different sets of dogs, one for team and one for individual.
Totally. And it also means that those dogs would only have 2 runs. They'd have 2 runs for team, and then you'd have another group of people who'd have 2 runs.
That's a long ways for all of that. Even with the 4 runs, sometimes you look at all the time you spent getting there, and then we get there and fortunately, we've been able to get a lot of good practice in over the years. Mm-hmm. Even still, the most it comes down to is 4 runs.
I guess it sounds like you've decided how you're going to allot the runs, but you haven't yet decided individually in each height class, aside from the large dogs, who will be doing the individual runs?
No, we actually have decided. So that isn't normally a part of the whole announcement process because sometimes we're still thinking about it. But we're pretty set this year that all 4 dogs are running individual and large. Our team-only dog in medium will be Lorraine Galgano. Mm-hmm. And our team-only dog in small will be Deanna Gamble and Kelsey. Now, that can change as we get closer. If some dogs are, have some little injuries going on or something else happens to, pull a team member off the team for whatever reason, and we add somebody else new on, that can change the scope. So we do have the ability to change right until the last moment, the night before the event, to give them our running orders. But it's good for everyone to know what they're going to do. There's no question that, wondering the day of an event if you're going to get to participate in all of the classes or only part of them. That can be a real brain drain for people and pretty uninspiring. So we like people going in knowing what they're going to do.
And that's one of the ways that we are very fortunate to have Nancy as the team coach. She's been there. She's been on the other side of this equation. So she understands psychologically, too, what the handlers are dealing with. And we've always have to remember that this is a team. We've got some fabulous dogs out there, but they need their fabulous handlers all in the same, all moving forward at the same time. And Nancy certainly understands that, and it really helps us.
I think that makes very good sense, and I think the team is lucky to have Nancy. So, a day before the final team was actually announced, the AKC actually released a short list of dogs that were in consideration for the team, and that made quite a buzz. Can you talk a little bit about the decision to release this short list?
This has actually been an idea of mine for a few years that has just sort of been an idea that we didn't really fulfill. But for one thing, it gives us a chance of acknowledging and honoring the gigantic effort that people have made, that more people than just the team members have made to get to that point of being picked or almost being picked for the team. So we don't just, along with the results and picking team members, we don't say where everyone else finished, because it's very difficult to compare apples with oranges, comparing scores at tryouts with scores at nationals, with what your weekly show record is. We take those things into consideration. If you've been a team member before, we take that into consideration. So this honors those people and also gives us a way of narrowing down the people that we're looking more closely at. And it is a list that we start developing and working on right away after tryouts is over with. It also gave us a little bit different process this year in the announcement phase. Usually we have all 100 people who are there competing at tryouts waiting for the phone call from me, at the appointed hour to tell them whether or not they made team. That's a pretty hard wait. And this at least eliminated the possibility that so many people were waiting for that phone call, and really help us focus on letting those people, the primary people, know and be available and be ready to hear what was happening with the team.
I think it would also give a lot of encouragement to the dogs that didn't make it but were very close. So that, maybe if they were feeling discouraged after not making the team, knowing that they made the short list, they're going to try that much harder during the year, come back next year, and try out again.
And when Nancy brought this forward, I have to admit, and Nancy will tell you that I drug my feet a little bit on it, but the more we thought about it, it made sense for exactly that reason. It gave those people that nod that they were in, we were definitely considering them. They were part of the process at that point. But, there's the other side, too, where it let their friends and other competitors know that this team was really right up there in the running.
We had a lot of phenomenal young dogs who didn't make even the short list. Dogs like JJ from Hawaii and Deanna, his little wild border collie Smitten, who had 3 first places at nationals, Cool and Pace and Will. Of the large dogs, phenomenal teams that, we did eliminate as being on our short list right away because we had so many others to choose from, that we knew that they probably, was likely that they wouldn't be in the final consideration. But we just had a large number of great young speed demon little dogs out there this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in years to come.
Excellent. So let's talk about this year's team. What were some of the strengths that each member will bring to Team USA?
Well, I would start with talking about the small dog team. The first member on our list is Laura Dolan and Race. Just a phenomenal young team that I hadn't really been on my radar till I saw her at nationals this year. She won the time to beat class, then she won the challenger round and won the national championship, as well as finishing in 3rd place in points at tryouts. So they're young, but they're incredible. And Laura was on the team before many years ago with her Sheltie. And so this isn't a first-time handler either. So I'm hoping they can really do a good job this year. Deanna Gamble and Kelsey is returning for their 8th time.
Wow.
So Kelsey was a youngster her first year, and every single year this team keeps putting it together. And at 10 years old, there's a little bit of fear there. It's like, is this dog, already over her prime? But her times are still faster than a lot of the dogs much younger than her. And Deanna's assured me she's in great health. She looks good. And the numbers, it would just been hard pressed not to take her when she could put up those kinds of numbers in qualifying rounds. Marcy Mantell and Wave, former gold medalists. They've won their way on the team this year by winning both of the available spots as tryouts, as Marcy has done before. Phenomenal. Consistency, speed, they have it all. So hopefully she'll put it together. She knows how to win a gold medal, and that always helps.
That's
and
right.
This is another team, just like Deanna Gamble and Kelsey. Again, the Wave is definitely getting older, but boy, she's not slowing down, and they have the experience, which is great for the other members coming on to this team.
There are some dogs that can just go, go, go.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have a few of them on this team.
So the 4th dog on our small dog team that finished in 2nd place in points this year at tryouts was Denise and Tyler. They also got a 5th at nationals. And were second to Marcy for winning the points this year to get on. So they just really are a strong team this year. They did a great job, and this is her first time going off to Worlds, but not her first time coming to tryout. So we're looking forward to working with her. Barb Davison-Sketcher, she's our alternate this year for the small dog team. She had some issues at tryouts. Both her and Sketcher were coming off some little minor muscle strains. She had told me, which is, probably helped cause a few of the errors that were going on. She made the AKC finals, but eliminated on the dog luck tunnel discrimination. She was on the team last year and basically learned a spot because of what she's capable of doing when they put it together. The dog is phenomenal. She had 3 first places in the regular classes at nationals. Incredible. And got a placement in jumpers last year. So we're thrilled to have Barb as our standby for the small dog team.
Yeah, that's always solid when your alternate was on last year's team. That's a solid team.
Absolutely. She's got the experience, so we know if she needs to go, she's ready to step right in, and that's a key for an alternate spot.
So then we move on to the medium dog team, and first I want to talk about Ashley and Luca. Oh my gosh. They were one of our choices last year for the team that probably I had to fight to get on the team because they didn't do well at tryouts. I think they had probably one of their worst events ever, not coming up with, any rounds, but they'd won nationals. And they are just a phenomenal team. I'm so thrilled. I fought to get them to be there, and Ashley brought home a gold medal last year. They're the ones that get the free ride and help us get those extra 2 runs. So Luca is still out there rocking and rolling, won nationals this year, regularly cleans up every weekend at local shows too. So just an incredible team.
Yeah, Luca's had an unbelievable year.
They've had an unbelievable career, really.
That's right.
Agreed.
That's right.
I don't know if another team, in the country that's had the success that they have had on all levels at both USDA and AKC, with so many championship wins and now gold medals. And she's just an incredible little dog. Lorraine Galgano is on the team for the first time this year with her wonderful Sheltie token. She's been at tryouts quite a few times, and every year just a little bit out of the money, and I'm thrilled that they made the team. I've worked with both Lorraine and Token, and I'm just really excited. Token's like a little machine. He can compete all day, train all day. They're fit, they're strong, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do at Worlds this year.
And Mach 18. I mean, there's a lot of consistency there to be Mach 18.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of consistency there. Lorraine Galgano and Token were also the AKC's top mock dog last year. So it's very exciting to see a team like that on the USA team.
Yeah, I think they have like over 90% qualifying rate in the regular classes. I mean, they're phenomenal, but they're also fast. So, it's not, usually if you're getting a dog at those many mocks, they also don't have maybe as much speed. But no, they've got it all. Third dog on our team this year, John Nysen Rush. Oh my gosh, he pulled this one off again. Kept us sitting at the edge of our seats. John injured his calf on Saturday. I mean, it was swollen. Looked like he wasn't going to be able to run again. Had some muck-ups because of that on the first day, and came back on Sunday totally determined. You'd have never thought that he'd had an injury. He ignored it. He brushed it off, and on he went, and just with an incredibly strong finish. John's won his very first year. He really is a rule breaker. His first year at Worlds, he came home with a medal and had 4 clean runs. So last year he made team, but both he and the dog were injured, and he's just the easiest guy to work with. And Rush is just an incredible dog, owned by Paulette Schwartzendruber, who was on the team with him a couple years before she got sick and was unable to participate. So they're a team favorite, of course. Jean Lavalley and Cheer. This was probably our easiest pick. For one thing, we only had one more medium dog to pick because Ashley was already on the team, and we had the 2 dogs from tryouts. Jean finished in a solid 3rd place and just did a great job at nationals, finished 4th, I believe, there. Jean's a seasoned world competitor from all our years on the team with Taz, and it was just a piece of cake to pick them. They belong there, and I think everyone suspected that would be our pick. Our medium dog alternate, another one that can just walk in and step into it, has been a team member for the last 2 years, and that's Maureen Walden and Mickle. lots of great performances by her again this year, and our totally logical pick for alternate.
Very nice. That's a strong medium dog team.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, we have high hopes. So then our large dog team, Tori and Revolution, and who doesn't root for that young team? Tori's an incredible young athlete, a college student, a poised young woman. She did an incredible job last year at Worlds. She had the best overall large dog performance last year, and that earned her the privilege of representing the USA at Crufts this year, where Carrie went with her.
Tori, when we go back and we look at her stats over this last year, she had a phenomenal run in her jumpers run at Worlds. She had some phenomenal runs in Crufts, and a couple of those runs actually put her over the current world champions by almost a full second to a second and a half, her and Rev on those runs. I mean, they're just a phenomenal team, and they certainly can do this for us.
They're everyone's favorites, and we're excited to have them back again. Shannon Fosty and Icon. This is Shannon's third time on the team with Icon. They placed second at nationals and also won the ultra competitive challenger run to get to the finals. And really, that's why they're here. Their combined scores from and placements at nationals and tryouts together is what helped them make the team this year. Super reliable. Icon's just a great dog, and I'm hoping they do a great job this year. Daisy and Solar. Solar was AKC national champion again this year at 26 inches. They're a phenomenal team. They have the ability to go to Europe and pull the whole thing off. And Daisy assured me this year she's going to.
Well, then we don't even have to go. We can just mail that in.
Daisy's fond of telling me that whenever I'm stuck, with trying to get the team to do something my way, she's just tell them what to do. So I've told her what to do. She's going to go up there and do perfect and win a gold medal.
That's
Sounds like
awesome.
a good plan.
That sounds easy, huh?
Right.
Sylvina Bruera and T-Cam. T-Cam is Sylvina's young dog. She has two border collies, Maha and T-Cam. She was our alternate last year. Sylvina moved here some years ago from Argentina. She has been at the World Championships, I don't know, 3 or 4 times with Maha representing Argentina. T-Cam was just a great young dog. She just pulled it off on Saturday at tryouts and won the first spot on team. I don't think any of us expected her to do that, and I am just so thrilled for her. She's a great handler, and T-Cam is just a great young dog.
Well, the other amazing part about Savina that day, well, for the whole weekend, actually, she was also videotaping everyone's individual run. So if you wanted to buy your run from the weekend, Savina was doing it. She was running her dog and videoing. And for her, in a lot of ways, that was like a regular weekend. And we joked that that's probably why she did so well. She didn't have time to obsess over what was going on because she had to run back behind the video camera.
So when she gets to the World, she needs to make sure she's videotaping everyone there as well.
I think that's a great plan.
Hey, I'm going to tell her about that one.
We get some good footage that way.
That's right.
And, oh my goodness, our alternate for the large dog team is Terry Smorch from Presto. They're one of the most reliable and qualified teams on the planet. We're honored that he graciously accepted the position. And I know if, God forbid that he ends up being on the team because somebody else has a problem, that he'll be able to step right in. And Terry's been there, done that too many times. He'll do a fabulous job.
Yeah, I think that's just like with the small dog team. When your alternate is that strong, that's a great team.
And, way too many years we have issues. Last year, John and Rush had a back injury, and then John had a back injury, and we lost them. As it was, we didn't need to replace them because we were only running 3 dogs on team. This year, things will be different. If we have someone fall off the team, those alternates are going to get put to work because we're not going to be willing to throw away a team without those 4 members. So life may be a little bit different this year. And, we keep our fingers crossed that nothing else happens to teams, that everyone stays safe. But the odds are that many years we've had some kind of an issue.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the preparation for the team members. What do you expect from everyone in terms of training and competition between now and October? Do you give them advice or guidelines?
Well, we talk to them a lot about every aspect of what's going to happen between now and World. Some of the team members are professionals. They run their own training schools. People like Daisy, they've got a really good idea of, what they're going to be doing between now and Worlds. And they've got, every weekend planned out, whether it's a resting weekend or a training weekend, time off, etc. For some of our newcomers, I will, and I've already talked to a couple of them even since yesterday about what their plans are for the next few months as far as rest. So some of these people have been hitting it really hard since before AKC Nationals and then continued that process right through tryout. So it's pretty typical of team members to give their dogs immediately after tryouts some time off, or if they've got another, planned rest period in there of approximately 3 weeks is usually what we encourage them to do at some point before World Championships to take that time off. If the dogs have any kind of little niggling, muscle injury or something, a few weeks off is probably going to take care of it. If it's something bigger than that, they already know about the problem. But, we're looking at keeping them fresh coming into our practices and working just on conditioning as opposed to going out there and pounding the contacts every day and things like that. So we do have 2 practices planned, probably both going to be on the West Coast this year, one in June, about a month from now, and the other one in August. We will run both. Those are 2.5-day practices. We run tons of courses and drills, and we talk about all different kinds of aspects of the trip that's ahead of the teams. So in between all of that, I send out courses and drills to the team that we are able to find online from the judges. They run those courses, and this year we're going to try to, I have some other plans about video analysis and things that we're going to be doing in preparation on those courses as well. So there's a lot for them to do. Number 1, physical conditioning for themselves and their dogs. Number 2, rest time if and when they need it. And 3, preparing via coursework and drills to have it all perfect.
What else happens behind the scenes to get everyone from here to the Czech Republic? Who are the people that we don't know about who make the whole thing possible?
First of all, we have to start with Tony Ozanicki. Tony is our trial secretary, starting with the World Team tryouts, but she also does a lot of other things behind the scenes for us. Tony runs all sorts of statistics for us all year. She coordinates the tryouts. She certainly helps with the travel to some extent. Just about anything that we need, someone that is real organized and project-oriented, Tony's our person, and she's been doing this for many years for us, acting essentially as our team manager, and makes a lot happen that people never know. And believe me, it makes mine and Nancy's jobs so much easier to know that Tony is there. And even if it's not something she's actively working on for us that current year, she's been so involved with the World Team for so many years. She's a wonderful resource for us to go back to, certainly for me to go back to, because this is only my second year now working with getting the team all the way over to the competition, and Tony always has lots of great advice and information for us. One of the other key people coming into the tryouts is Sharon Anderson. Sharon is the former Director of Agility for the American Kennel Club. Fortunately for us, she has stayed on as a very busy volunteer, and she coordinates the World Team tryouts for us each year. It makes it very, very easy for us. It's like just showing up at a trial. There are certain things that from the AKC side that we supply, certainly, all of the computers for the scorekeeping and the results that everyone got to see this year, the timing equipment, little things like that. But Sharon's the one that makes sure we've got the facility, the wonderful volunteers, the equipment, that we can basically walk in and just start our tryouts with very minimal work once we get there. And that certainly helps us a ton. And then we've got people in the office at the AKC that do a lot of things for us that people are never aware of. Lisa Strickland, she's our key money person as far as I send her a receipt for something for one of the team members or Tony or Sharon or someone. Lisa has a check turned around usually in 24 hours being processed and ready to go. And then we use other outside, agencies for our travel and all sorts of stuff. But those are certainly the key people from my side that certainly help. And Nancy can probably speak a little bit to our wonderful assistant coach, which is Kathy Leggett. Kathy's been doing that for about 4 years now, Nancy, 5 years?
At least, maybe as long as I've been doing it. So, Kathy, besides being a very close friend and student, has been my assistant for quite a few years now, and couldn't survive without her at team practices and team tryouts. Team tryouts as well, because she helps me keep track of what each dog does and does record keeping on the runs. But it's at the World Championships that she does her biggest job. I stay in the building. I rarely step a foot outside of the building for 3 days. Kathy's the one who takes each handler's hand and walks them to the practice jump and keeps track of them before their runs. And I'm the person who hangs out and waits for them to appear at ringside so that we can go in and get ready. Her experience being on the world team herself for many years with her Sheltie Heather and trying out for the teams herself and just being there all these years makes her the perfect assistant.
And as Nancy mentioned, Kathy certainly helps with a lot of pieces because at this point, we've got a lot of pieces we still have to do before we ever even get on the plane to the Czech Republic this year. As she mentioned, we've got 2 practices still during the summer that need to be organized and coordinated. We've got uniforms that need to be done. We've got travel that needs to be done. We've got dogs that we need to make sure they all have the correct paperwork to get into the Czech Republic. So now, we've worked really hard just to get to the point where we have a team, and now we crunch it all down into 3 months to make sure that we're all ready to go and get on the plane at the end of September.
Yeah, now the real work begins.
Absolutely. At least on my side of the equation, Nancy's taking care of the dogs and the handlers, but now I've got all the paperwork and the phone calls to make sure that everything is in place when we get there.
I'm going to hold her to that.
Well, I definitely have a greater appreciation now for everything that goes on behind the scenes and all the planning and logistics that go into the entire effort.
So if you hear that we had to walk from the airport in Prague to where the event is, you'll know who dropped the ball.
Or the keys, as the case may be.
Right. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's a wonderful thing about agility at any level. You come home with all sorts of great stories.
Maybe it should be like the Las Vegas thing. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So what happens in the Czech Republic stays in the Czech Republic.
Pretty much. We usually chant that on a regular basis when these things happen to us when we're traveling.
Nice.
Definitely what happens at team practice stays at team practice. I'll tell you that. That's where it starts.
But that's also certainly what helps build the team. As we all know, it's those experiences together as the group. And again, we've got a great group this year. We usually have very, very great people that are on these teams as far as the personalities. They work hard together, but they also play hard together. And that really makes things work for us in the long run.
Well, it sounds like the team members really support each other. And speaking of support, how can some of us support the team financially? Like, how much money does the actual trip run, like, per person or for the entire group? Give us an idea of the numbers there.
It's a lot. I'm going to be a little vague on that one. But, obviously, the AKC covers their airfare to practices. It covers their airfare to the event, hotels at the practices and at the event, and some of the meals. We also cover part of their uniforms. We cover a basic uniform. Anything beyond that the world team members feel they need or Nancy decides that they need to become stronger, that is certainly all comes in through our outside fundraising. And the team members the last few years have certainly taken it upon themselves to really step up and help ensure that we can keep having a quality team and a quality experience for everyone. They already started this year before anyone even knew who was on the team. Last year's team members, Marcy Mantell was kind of the chairperson of this, stepped in and already put together a calendar that they sold at the beginning of the year. And then they stepped into the next phase of fundraising where we have our supporter shirts, which have a great logo on them, which again, we were fortunate to have Marcy volunteer to design that logo this year. So the team has been very supportive the last few years, as the AKC actually did have to pull back a bit of their financial support. But at the same time, it was felt the team would do better if they had 2 practices. So when the second practice was added, there had to be some consideration about how do we balance all this? How do we make this work? And the team themselves stepped up and said, let us help. Let us make this work so that we can have the best experience and competition that we can.
And I'll tell you that I've actually gotten a shirt.
Yay!
The design is really nice. And this is actually the first year that I've gotten the shirt, but I did get one. So I encourage people, go to the site, check out the shirt. You're going to like it and you're going to want to get one.
Well, and the other thing that people can always do, or if they own a business or something, we're always interested in talking to people that might be interested in whether it's a cash donation or depending on what type of business they have. Cash is always the best because it gives us some flexibility. But certainly if there was someone that had the ability to donate uniforms or something like that, again, we'd be more than happy to talk with them. So we're open to all sorts of creative ideas also to make sure that the AKC World Team stays a viable team for everybody.
Yeah, we'd like to thank also this year Clean Run provided the incredible shirts that we had for all competitors at team tryouts. They looked so sharp. My friend Ingrid Monsioni from Hawaii designed those shirts, and Clean Run paid for all of them for the competitors. Planet Blue Dog paid for all the awards for the competitors. We want to thank them so much for what they did. And it's a big effort goes on to help with all this little bit of extra financial support that we need.
Well, what many people may not already realize is that they already donated to the World Team if they watch the World Team tryouts on Agility Vision. Agility Vision gets 50% of their profits from that weekend to the AKC World Team. So everyone who tuned in, you're part of the team. We really, really appreciate that.
Wow, that's awesome. I feel extra special now.
That's right. So we were watching the tryouts on Agility Vision, but how can we follow along with the team's progress during the year and at the actual competition?
During the year, we'll do a couple just general postings probably to Facebook just about practice, a few pictures, just let people know that they're out there working hard to get ready. Once we get to the Czech Republic, we're going to take our own hotspot this year because we learned last year when we didn't have our usual internet access that we were not able to keep people as updated as we would like. And we'll be using the AKC website and the AKC Facebook page for our primary information going out once the competition starts. After that, people will be able to go to the AKC website and pull up final results. We'll be able to get those afterwards. Also, along the way, we will do everything we can to get good copies of the courses. Some years, they've put them on a website where we've been able to pull nice, clean copies. Other years, we get our one or two copies handed to the team, and, of course, we resort to the old-fashioned taking a picture of the course and posting it so people can at least see what's being run. But that depends on the organizing committee and how they decide to distribute some of the information as far as what type of access we have to it. But again, the key is Nancy and I are taking our own hotspot so we can make sure we get a lot of good information out there this year.
All right. Well, I know of at least one person who likes to make the FCI World Championships one of her big vacations for the year. If people are interested in making the trip as a spectator, as a team supporter, who can they talk to?
I would encourage them to send an email either to myself or Nancy, and hopefully you'll post both of our email addresses for people to access. And then we'll give them the information on the Yahoo group. We have a Yahoo group for anyone who is interested in traveling with the team, and that group is where they'll find the information on hotel rooms, times for the event, and just general questions. It's amazing how much we learn from each other on that group. Maybe there's a great place to see that's only 20 minutes from the hotel we're staying in, and people will work together, say, well, this group is going to go on Tuesday over there. But at least as far as having a central place they can come to initially to find out about the hotel that we do have set up in the Czech Republic and how to access those rooms, that best way to do that will be through the Yahoo Travel Group, because once that is ready to be published, that's where it'll go into.
Okay, well, we will definitely post your email so that people can get a hold of you. And is there anything that either of you would like to add?
Oh, I really appreciate the time that you guys have taken with the AKC World Team. It's really a very exciting event, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to see the handlers and dogs that compete at this event, but it really is very exciting. And believe me, you come home from that weekend and you're inspired to start training. Right now, I'm between dogs. I don't have a dog I can run, but I have to tell you, I came home and I looked at that little rescue dog of ours and I said, you know what? I think you need to get to some agility lessons again because I really need to get running.
The FCI Agility World Championships is simply one of the most exciting events on the planet. If you do our sport, it is the most competitive, exciting agility competition of the entire year. Whether you travel with the team as a supporter or you watch online on the internet or do video on demand after the event, take some time, learn about it, experience it with us. Come check out the AKC pages, keep track of us, check out the AKC Facebook page. And we're just thrilled that you guys hosted us today for this podcast, and we're happy to talk to your audience.
And that's all for this week's podcast. We'd like to thank Nancy and Carrie for taking time out of their very busy schedules to join us. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Visit us at baddogagility.com and look for the big orange button on the right-hand side if you're interested in introducing our podcast.
We also have plenty of training articles, and we would love to hear your comments.
And sign up for our free newsletter on our site so you never miss an article.
Happy training!